Information is power. Information is power.
Tell the truth.
Information is power.
Tell the truth.
BS3 Network. Changing the way you watch. You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
Information is power.
Tell the truth.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel. Information is power. Information is power.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Information is power.
BS3 Network is now on Roku TV under BS3 TV. Download You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel. please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Tell the truth.
Information is power. Information is power.
Tell the truth.
What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody out there? Thank you for being here. This is the Information Man Show. Let's do a test right now, everybody. Let's make sure that you can hear me. I'm not streaming through my I'm not streaming through StreamYards. I'm streaming through my regular streaming system. Because it operates a lot better when showing you visual and audio, and StreamYards has a lot of goofy stuff that takes place when I'm trying to do that. But let me know if you can hear me loud and clear by putting a 7 in the chat room. I really appreciate everybody that's here today, as I will try my best to shout people out as the program goes along. You will find this program today both very much in your face and very educational as well, as I'm what I pride myself on is going deeper under the surface of these issues. Some people talk about them and they give you this sort of surface analysis, but you know, at the Information Man Show, you know, I'm always going to come with the deeper surface analysis and various receipts to show you some things on this. So we got Tony D, Omar Cruz is in the house, Sports Express podcast, Keith Weston is here, Brother Rob is here. Of course, Tony D's been rocking with me, and Tony D, we'll get back to that comedy ranking again very soon. I have not forgotten about that, brother. If you can hear me, hit that 7, which I really appreciate that. We got Knowledge TV in the house. Thank you for being here. We got Big Dog Philly OG. Check out his channel. He's doing big things over there. Always gives me a lot of respect when I'm over there on that channel. Really appreciate you, brother, wholeheartedly. We got Sports Express podcast. Keith, I said before. We've got, who else do we have here? Young Peasy that's come in the house. A lot of great people coming in the house, Keith, Knowledge. Appreciate you all. I don't know how big the audience will be for this one, but it doesn't really matter because I'm going to tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
And say what needs to be said. Because Jerry Jones is not being completely honest with you. Now, let me say this to you out there. I know we got guys out there, ladies, guys that are football fans, and you like Jerry Jones because you say, well, how can Jerry Jones be a racist, or how can he have racial issues when he has a football team in which he hires black players and he pays them money. He gives them millions of dollars while, oops, he makes billions of dollars on the football plantation, right? He's the same Jerry Jones that refused to let players stand up for their civil rights when it came to the issues around Colin Kaepernick. We're going to get to that, right? So before any of you out there, any of you raccoons out there, you know who I'm calling raccoons, jump out the window and say, oh, come on now, Jerry Jones has been good to black folks. He give black folks. Jerry Jones is simply doing what the market bears. He's simply paying black players what the market bears. If he could pay black players less money and get the same results of making money himself and winning championships, of course he would do it. Damn it. Bear Bryant at Alabama University, he was getting his ass kicked when he came out here to California. You know the history. And he played against USC, and they ran all over him with black players. And then up until then, he didn't want black players. They didn't have black players in the SEC that y'all all rave about today. And when the West Coast and other places were recruiting black players and they were getting their butt kicked, oh, it's funny how their racist ways and their racist philosophy took a sidestep because we can make money off these black folks. We can put these black bodies on the field and our schools will get rich and make tons of money off of black bodies. Of course, we're not going to educate them and make sure they get a damn degree. So don't give me that stuff about, oh, well, you know, you can't be racist. You've had some of the biggest racists employ us and give us money. In comparison to what they're making, it's nickels and dimes, ladies and gentlemen, nickels and dimes. I'm going to show you some things that's going to make you say, let me think about this with Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones sat up there and said that he's just was curious. Now, we got Shaka in the house. We got Brenda King in the house. Thank you for being here. We got Jill's Chocolate Boutique in the house. Give her some love. A lot of great folks coming in the house little by little. I give you all a clap. I give you all a clap, and I appreciate all of you over here today. Now, let's see how this thing works. We got to look at it for what it is, folks. Stop playing around. Stop BSing around. And also, I'm live on Roku TV, so peace to you. I will upload a copy recording of this video to the Facebook. I'm not in live into Facebook or Twitch right now, both Roku TV and YouTube right now. Now, Jerry Jones set up there. Peace, Money Boy Films. I see Bama, Coco in the house, Just Natural in the house. Jungle, Forever is here. Be respectful in the chat room. We got one busy mama. A lot of great audience here today. I appreciate you. Now, let me get on track here for the purpose that you came here for. Jerry Jones said that he was just a curious participant, right? He says, I was just curious. Now, he wants to fool you and me and make you think that he wasn't a part of that culture, that he wasn't bred into that culture. And when I show you some videos from people living at that time and things that are out of their mouth, there's no way that Jerry Jones did not be affected by it. It was a part of the community. So when he sits up there and say he was just a curious and that many of the kids that were there didn't know what was going on, that's a damn lie. Now you see Jerry Jones right here. He's in the background. Now, how do we know whether Jerry Jones participated in this? He can just tell us anything because all we got to go on is the still footage or the still thumbnail right here. There he is in the back. Now, he tried to make it seem like he was far away. Jerry Jones is not that far away from the action. You got a cameraman right here, a cameraman over to the right, cameraman over here towards the young man, two of the young black males. You got the guys right here smiling, a cigarette in his mouth, and they were acting unruly, and you know they were peppering them with the N-word and everything else. And Jerry Jones wants to act like I was just way back in the back and I was afraid about what my coach was going to do, y'all, because, the coach told us not to be there. But I was just curious, y'all, because, I'm just curious, like Curious George, y'all. He wants us to think that he was just curious, like Curious George, y'all. Can y'all want to buy that? Do y'all want to buy that? Oh, I was just, I'm like Curious George. I just came around, I didn't know what was going on. They say in the news reports at Washington Post he was 14. No, Jerry Jones was 15 years old, y'all. He even said it himself. And I'm going to show you some video where he's being interviewed. And one of the interviewers was trying to press him on whether he wanted to talk to the young lady who did the video story about this. And then eventually you could tell that Jerry Jones was getting irritated, and he says, give me somebody else to talk to. Oh, y'all gonna hear that today. So for all of you raccoons and you mealy-mouth individuals out there that say, y'all, why don't you leave Jerry Jones alone? He put a lot of money in black people's hands. So damn what? He paid what the market bared in the NFL. All those owners in the NFL, you didn't see them all stand up for Colin Kaepernick. Now, Colin Kaepernick made his money with Nike. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it 100%. He got a smooth deal with Nike. But all those owners in the NFL colluded to keep him from standing for something that was related to the fact that black men were being killed in this country by police. Jerry Jones did not defend that. He told his players to not take a knee or there would be hell to pay. Now, the only time he took a knee with his players was when the anthem was not being played and it was under his control. It was an orchestrated kneel down, as you see right there, but it was under the control of Jerry Jones. It was on his terms. Jerry Jones did an objective to the protest, an object to the protest during the 2017 NFL season, when many African-American players took a knee to raise awareness around racism, policing practices, and ultimately it took a knee. He took a knee with his entire team in September of 2017 in a choreographed demonstration that took place while the national anthem was not playing. He told players, if you take a knee while this anthem is playing, there'll be hell to pay. So what he wanted to do to get out in front of this is that Jerry Jones knows he's one of the most popular owners in the NFL. He staged this under his control, under his jurisdiction, under his decision. But then when Colin Kaepernick took the knee for something that was about something, all these owners in the NFL, all these plantation owners, because the NFL is nothing but a plantation, just like Colin Kaepernick said in the Netflix special. You got a football field. They had black people in the fields picking cotton. You have a football field where black men are running and grunting up and down a football field, just like in the, you saw the movie with Jamie Foxx, Django Unchained, where in the beginning of that movie you saw two black men fighting each other. They called it Mandingo games. Football is the same way. Two black men running up and down the field, grunting, pushing, popping, hitting each other, while the owners are sitting in the luxury boxes, just like in slavery time when they would set up and watch black men fight each other for sport and have a drink, have a beer, have a martini, whatever they were drinking back then. And they're set up in their luxury boxes saying, run, Negro, run, Negro, run, 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 run. That's my $1 million Negro on this plantation running up and down that field. He makes $1 million. I make $1 billion. And when they can't use you anymore and they can't trade you and waive you, when they can't trade you and use you and get any value out of you, it's called, we're going to trade you like a slave. Trade you from one team to another because we have no value for you after you've busted up your body for us. And just like Kaepernick said, when you go to the NFL draft, it's similar to a slave auction where they're prompting, looking at your teeth, your hands, spreading you open, spreading you wide, and all sort of things. How fast can you run, boy? How fast can you run this football on my damn plantation? And of course, we think we look at it as, well, it's not slavery because they're making millions of dollars. Remember the book, $1 Million Slave? Yeah, you could be making $1 million and living in a good house, but you could also have a slave mentality. That's the truth.
Tell the truth.
I'm bringing this up because there's going to be someone out there that's going to talk about how good Jerry has been to his players. Yeah, he gives them money. Anybody that gives you $1 million contract, you're definitely going to see them as a good guy because they're giving you money. Look at Herschel Walker. He's as dumb as a bag of nails, everybody. But he's being loyal to Trump because Trump gave him all that, he gave him all those butter biscuits back in the day when he played for the Washington Generals when you had the USFL football league. He gave him all those butter biscuits, and so he's loyal to him. So you got to understand the relationship between football player and owner. Owners control everything, and the football players have non-guaranteed contracts. So Jerry Jones, along with the owners in the NFL, were no friend to Colin Kaepernick and those black players that were demonstrating. So if Jerry Jones, as he says that we come a long way from that time at that school and we should never have that, then why wasn't Jerry Jones willing to jump out the window and embrace what was happening with black players in the NFL around the issue of brutality of black men as it related to police? Why didn't he join in solidarity as an owner? He really didn't, ladies and gentlemen. This was all a front, what you see right here on the screen. Let me give you a little back history, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you all for being here and watching. You don't know how much this means to me. I see the numbers going up. This is great. I want you to share this video because we see great people in the chat room. One Busy Mama, I love seeing you over here. I really appreciate you. And I thought I modded you up, One Busy Mama. I don't know what in the hell is going on right there, but there you go. So with all ado, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to hear this report that was on CNN. I got some goodies for you from Don Lemon when he was one of the ones that broke this story, but it was really Washington Post. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen.
We're going to start with this photo. It's from September 9, 1957, and it shows Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones among a crowd of white students trying to keep black students from integrating at an Arkansas high school. This is a Washington Post reporting. It reports that Jones, who was 14 at the time, could be seen standing a few yards from where the 6 black students were being jostled and repelled with snarling racial slurs by ringleaders of the mob. So joining us now, sports and feature columnist at the Washington Post, Sally Jenkins. Sally broke this story along with her co-author, David Moranis. We're so happy that you could join us this morning. Thank you very much. Happy Thanksgiving to you. And again, I have to commend you on your reporting. This whole thing is right. I mean, it's really stunning. It's fascinating. So let's start with the picture, okay, and then we'll talk about how we could have sort of moved diversity along with coaching in the NFL and in sports. Let's start with this photograph, though. What did you learn about this from this photograph?
Well, I think the first thing you learn is just how widespread the segregationists were in Little Rock and North Little Rock. Jerry Jones's high school was North Little Rock, which was across the Arkansas River from Central High School, which is the school that got all of the attention when Eisenhower sent in federal troops to protect the Little Rock Nine at that school over there. But the segregationist agitators were actually very active on both sites. And the fact that we knew that generationally, Jerry Jones had to have experienced the events in Little Rock more generally, but to find him in the photograph and to learn that he experienced one of those incidents right on the schoolhouse steps was pretty revelatory. We were blown away, to put it mildly. Let me ask you about this picture just quickly here, because he's saying, I was just there. I wasn't participating. I was there just sort of to observe. But with the photograph, what you point out in your reporting is that in order to get where he was at the top of those stairs, that he had to get up there pretty quickly, and those were sort of the students that were keeping the black students from entering. Does this say anything about his participation? Are you making any sort of judgment about it, or? No, two things. First of all, he's a little at the time, so he's actually younger than the ringleaders that you can see in the photographs. That's one thing that we noticed. We did look at a sequence of photos leading up to those schoolhouse steps, and the white teenagers on the steps did have to move around the black students to get to the top of the steps. Nevertheless, he is further back. He is younger than the lead participants. And so I think that, you know.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me stop the nonsense. See, I'm going to keep it real today. White people in general always make excuses for their effery. They always make excuses when they get caught with their drawers down. And that's just the truth. Now, someone made a good point in the chat room. How did this all get out? He got exposed, right? He never brought this out himself, so of course he didn't want people to know about this. But this whole thing about Jerry Jones was just sort of in the back. Let's take a look at Exhibit A once again. What did I say just earlier? Look at where the red circle is. Let's examine this critically. This is how the Information Man show gets down over here. You'll see Jerry Jones is really not that far away from the incident if you really think about it. You have two cameramen over to the right. You have the two thugs, two white thugs over here to the left, the one with the cigarette. You could tell that's really up in their face. You got a cameraman over here to the left. Jerry Jones is really not that far. They're making it sound like Jerry Jones was way back in the back yonder or something like that. Like he was way back in the cheap seats, the bleacher seats. No, Jerry Jones, as you can see on this picture, had a very, very good view. A very good view. And I'm going to say it again. We don't know. All we know from Jerry Jones is that he said, I was just there as a curious observer, like Curious George or something. And then we know that's bullshit. And I'm going to show you why he's lying today. I'm just there as a curious observer. Let's continue.
You simply have to take him at his word unless something else appears, that he was there more out of curiosity and fascination, as opposed to being really at the very epicenter of the active events. He does remember, one thing he told us that did not make it in the story is that he does remember that it got physical. The tough guys that you see in the center of the photograph end up really pushing the kids down off the steps. And in fact, one of them is arrested.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see again, as I put this back on here, once again, she's also sort of explaining. And one of the things that white society does when they get caught in something is that it's often the ideology that I'm white and I say so. I'm white, so that means I'm right. So whatever I say, you got to believe me. When they're getting caught up in their racism, they'll say, well, I didn't mean that. I was just curious, like Curious George. I was just curious about what I was saying. I was just joking. Don't take it all that serious. So let's hear Jerry Jones himself, ladies and gentlemen. And as I get ready to play that, let me just thank everybody that's here in the chat room. That's Curious George, and that's what he's trying to portray himself. It's just some curious, innocent bystander in the whole situation, ladies and gentlemen. What I want people to do, if you can, is definitely share this video today. It's a very important video. I'm doing a different take on this situation than you would see usually on these YouTube streets, because I like to analyze things and assess things and bring everything in full scope and content for you all. Do not leave this stream, because I have some things that you will see today that will definitely blow you away. Now, let's go to Jerry Jones and hear from him as he tries to explain it all away very trivially. And this is the thing. Whether Jerry Jones actually put his hands on those students, that's not what I'm getting at here, because some people are going to say, well, see, you didn't see Jerry Jones do anything. Won't y'all leave Jerry Jones alone? That's not what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is I want you to hear how he's very cavalier about, well, I was just there as an observer. And then when I show you some of the video of how people in that community sort of thought, their thought process, then you know that Jerry Jones is lying to you. Because Jerry Jones, like many white people at that time, grew up in the culture. Now, Jerry Jones, from what I understand, was born in Los Angeles, I believe, and then his family left Los Angeles and took him to Arkansas. So he spent most of his life in Arkansas in the Deep South, growing up in that type of segregated culture, but that mainly that racist culture. And for people to say that if you are a young kid, 14 or 15, but he was actually 15, that you can't be a racist, that's a lie. Most adult people, when they grow up and they're racist, where do you think they learn to be racist? It all starts when they were adolescents, when they were kids and teenagers, and it's in their community being reinforced by the adults onto the kids and what they see. So Jerry Jones is not being honest about this curiosity that he just had. Curiosity can kill the cat, as they always say. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
The picture they painted of you from a picture when you were 14 years old.
Yeah, that was, 65 years ago, and a curious kid. I didn't know at the time the monumental event, really, that was going on, and I'm sure glad that we're a long way from that. I am, and
I'm sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I had my mic off, but what I was trying to say is that federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, exhibit portions of copyright motion picture videotapes or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use, and is allowed for the purpose of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which does not infringe of the copyright under 17 USC 107. Sorry I had the mic off, but we're back live now. Here we go.
we just, that would remind me just continue to do everything we can to not have those kinds of things happen.
Any regrets of just being in the photo, being there at all?
What?
Any regrets on being in the photo, being there at all?
Well, I wouldn't just dug that up for sure. I mean, seriously, but that was curiously, I got criticized because I was more interested in how I was going to be punished by my coaches and everybody for being out front, but nobody there had any idea, frankly, what was going to take place.
That's the first lie by Jerry Jones. He said nobody that was there knew what was gonna take place. That's a lie. You just had the situation with Little Rock, the Little Rock 9, which was the other Little Rock. He went to Little Rock, North Little Rock Central High School. Then there was the other Little Rock High School, which we know as the Little Rock 9, which were 9 black students that were going to school. They were being spit on. They were being racially peppered, and hate and all over the place were put on them. That was across the river from the school that he went to, and he knew that was going on because that was a part of the community of Arkansas, Deep South. So when Jerry Jones is sitting up here talking about I was just curious and I was worrying about what my coach was going to say, and he's smiling and grinning, that shows you trivialness. Trivial, you know, he's taking it as if he's being cavalier about it is the proper word. Now, when we look at someone like Kyrie Irving was raked over the coals about his beliefs or what he was posting. He was raked over the coals, right? The media came down on him heavy, but then Jerry Jones gets caught in something in the past, and they want to tell us that we should be easy on Jerry Jones, right? Oh, be easy on him. It was 65 years ago. Wait a minute. Just like you had Emmett Till that was killed by Caroline Bryant, who's still alive today and has not been arrested for what she did to Emmett Till. We should forget about. So that means when we want to go after that woman, that nobody should tell us, hey, that happened 100 years ago. Leave Caroline Bryant alone. See, you see the double standard, ladies and gentlemen. If you hear what I'm saying, hit a 7 in the chat room. Let this play again.
Have all the last 70 years of reference and all the things that were going, and so you didn't have a reference point there. Still, I've got a habit of sticking this nose in the right place at the wrong time.
You see how he's smiling? I have a habit of sticking my nose in the wrong places. He's being trivial. This is why black people, we can have the attitude that we have. He's being trivial. He grew up in an era in which he saw racism right up front. He probably participated in it. It probably was in his family. Probably it was all around him. And he wants to sit up here and play Curious George. Bullshit.
Did you get in trouble with your coach for being there?
I sure did.
What was the punishment?
Well, you know, I was a young sophomore trying to make the team, and they kicked my ass.
Jerry, it came out to the Little Rock situation at Little Rock Central, though, right? That photo and that incident.
Excuse me?
That incident came out to the situation in Little Rock Central.
Well, that was North Florida.
So you had Little Rock Central is the incident that took place. So the reporter is asking him a very smart question because Jerry Jones is trying to play naive here. He's trying to play this, oh, that was 65 years ago. Let me let you know something that happens. This is a psychological thing that I've learned in my profession. When you begin to age as a person, the first thing that you lose is short-term memory, but you don't lose usually your long-term memory. So he knows exactly what the hell was going on back then from a psychological point of view. But he wants to play this, oh, shucks, oh, goshy, well, you know, I didn't want to get in trouble with my coach, and we didn't really know what was going on. You knew exactly what was going on because you were raised in the culture, Jerry Jones. This is my point that I'm trying to make today, which tells you that when you use deductive reasoning, Jerry Jones is lying.
Right.
Which was literally just 2 or 3 miles away.
Was it the same day at Little Rock Central that it came a
As I
different day?
recall, it was certainly in proximity with it. Those were certainly the issues that were going on, but did not have the structure or it was not the event that the central thing was.
Now, you see what he's doing. Jerry Jones is trying to tell you that what happened at his high school was not the same way of what happened at Central. So he's trying to marginalize and underestimate his situation at his school by saying, see, well, yeah, we had some black students that we stopped from getting into school. But, you know, it wasn't as bad as what they were doing over there at Central with the Little Rock Nine. See, our situation was, you know, we were having a tea party at our place. And I was just way in the back looking. And I didn't know what was going on, even though you've been raised in the culture. And I'm going to show you video of young white kids at that time and how they were talking and thinking. Jerry Jones knows exactly what was going on. At 14 and 15, or he was 15 years old, actually, folks. Not 14, really, he was 15. He even admits it in this video that I'm showing you today. At 15 years old, you do know what's going on. You may not understand everything, but you know what's going on, especially when you're being raised in a culture, in an environment of racism. All those white kids back then knew that there was a racial line between black and white. That's what I'm getting on Jerry Jones about, is that he's not being an honest broker. Let's continue. But it's not like I expected him to be an honest broker either, folks. Here we go.
You understand the perception that people have of you standing there, because that was not exactly a welcoming committee that day.
Yeah, I sure do.
Tell the truth.
And I understand that. I've just understand it. Yes.
So for the people that look at that and say you were a part of that, and you're saying you were curious, and other people are saying, well, this was a crowd, basically, you know.
Look, that was 65 years ago.
See?
And I had no idea when I walked up there what we were doing.
Once again, what did I just say? Look, the man says that that was not a greeting crowd that was greeting these young men. Let me show you another picture of these young men for you to see right here. 2 black students, Richard Richardson, 17 years old, and Harold Smith, 17 years old as well, are harassed in Little Rock in 1957 as they attempt to integrate Arkansas North Little Rock High. That crowd was hostile towards them. Let me show you some other photos here. The policeman pointed to a youth as he stops a group of North Little Rock High School students singing Dixie songs at the school this morning. African-American students who tried to enter the school yesterday stayed away on September 10th, 1957 at North Little Rock. Let me tell you this is some bullshit that he's saying. He's sitting up here talking about it wasn't the same scene as what happened in the Central 9. Yes, the Central 9 grabbed all the headlines. That is true. But he's trying to minimize it. I'm showing you legitimate clips here that he's a liar. Right here on this scene, this view taken from the door of North Little Rock High School shows students rushing to stop 6 African-American boys from attempting to attend the first day of class, September 9th, 1957. The children had enrolled at the school earlier. At the door, tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
White students blocked the entry and were successful in turning back the black students. That's what was going on. Jerry Jones wants to set up here and tell you that it wasn't the same thing. It was no big deal. You know, we didn't know what was going on. It wasn't the same gravity of what happened at the Central Little Rock High with the Little Rock 9, that it was just, you know, we just was curious. I was just curious about what's happening. I was just curious, y'all, like Curious George. I was just curious. That's all BS. As you can see right here, he was there. He's very close to where these guys are. It ain't like Jerry Jones, like I said earlier, was way back yonder. He was right up close and personal. But he tells you and me, I was just curious, y'all. And let's get back at it again with the rest of his curiosity. The guy asked him a legitimate question. He wants to minimize it. Listen to this again.
And you're saying you were curious, and other people are saying, well, this was a crowd, basically, you know.
Look, that was 65 years ago, and I had no idea when I walked up there what we were doing.
I know, Brenda. Nobody wants to hear this truth.
A reminder to me of how to improve and do things the right way.
So what did you think of the crowd who, these kids were just trying to go to school? There was a whole lot of people, there was a lot of hostility towards those kids.
Yeah, you want to ask me what I was thinking? Okay, I was thinking about I'm going to get in trouble for being up here, and I didn't know what was going on.
There it again, he's asked a legitimate question about what was he thinking. He wants to bait and switch it to, I was thinking about I was getting in trouble. Well, if you were concerned about getting in trouble, Jerry Jones, you would have never went there in the first place. But you want to hide behind curiosity, and you notice he continues. This is what white people do, who, when they get caught with their hands in a cookie jar of their racist past or their past being involved in racial demonstrations, is that they want to turn around and romanticize their involvement in it by saying, well, see, it was 65 years ago, and I was concerned that my coach was going to scold me. And you notice he never said that he was concerned about what his parents would do to him, because basically I wouldn't be surprised if his parents had no problem with those black kids being pushed out of that school as well. But he's so concerned about what his coach was thinking, and then he wants to minimize it as if it wasn't no big deal. Let's hear that again. We're gonna break this down.
So what did you think of the crowd who, these kids were just trying to go to school? There was a whole lot of people, there was a lot of hostility towards them.
Fair use, fair use, fair use.
You want to ask me what I was thinking? Okay, I was thinking about I'm going to get in trouble for being up here, and I didn't know what was going on.
So he wants you to think that he was only thinking about, I'm going to get in trouble. You know, Jerry Jones is acting like he was going to get he sounded like, I was afraid that I was going to get in trouble. He's making he wants us to believe that he was concerned that he was going to get a whipping. Like somebody was going to whip him.
15 years old. And so,
see, he said it himself, ladies and gentlemen. So for everybody that keeps saying he was only 14, no, he was 15. And at 15 years old, you know wrong from right. At 15 years old, you can see when something is wrong. You can notice when people are being treated unfairly. You know what's going on. You're in the culture.
Having said that, that's all that I can remember.
Now, this is what racists do when they get caught with their hands in a cookie jar. You notice he said, that's all I can remember. All of a sudden, you can't remember nothing. I told you all, I worked in geriatrics as well. Usually when people become older, the one thing that they'll remember, even when they start having mental issues, your long-term memory always stays with you a lot longer. It's the short-term memory, meaning if I walk up to someone who's elderly, very elderly, they may not remember my name, even though I just told them my name a minute ago, but they can tell you all about how they grew up years ago. Jerry Jones is all of a sudden having, he's having this amnesia at the appropriate time for him to say it. All of a sudden, he don't remember. I bet you he remembers every championship that he's won. I bet you he remembers every player that's played for him. I bet you he knows how to break down the draft and look at all those hundreds of football players that he wants to draft on his team. He knows how to break down. The man is the president of the team. He's the owner of the team. He's the general manager, which means he has to crunch the numbers. And now he wants to tell me and you that he don't remember what happened with the racial incident, but he remembers all these things as it relates to running a football team and understanding how to run a football team from the numbers to the players. Bullshit. Bullshit. Bullshit.
Tell the truth.
It just is a reminder to me of how to improve and do things the right way.
Tell the truth.
So what did you think of the crowd who, these kids were just trying to go to school? There was a whole lot of people, there was a lot of hostility towards us.
Yeah, you want to ask me what I was thinking? Okay, I was thinking about I'm going to get in trouble for being up here, and I didn't know what was going on, and I was 15 years old. And so having said that, that's
tell the truth.
All that I can remember. Okay. Jerry was reported that
You see how he does that, ladies and gentlemen? That's all I can remember. Or what he really wants to say is, that's all that I'm going to tell your ass.
Tell the truth.
So when he says that, that's all I can remember. No, it's all that he wants to tell us, folks. It's all that he wants to say. It's all that he's going to be willing to share. What's going on, Big Dog Philly OG? I see we got Sister Melanin in the house. She says, that is so true. I took care of a lady who could not remember my name, but she could tell me what happened from the time she was a child. Exactly. So this whole thing that Jerry don't remember, I don't believe that, because he's got a memory to run a damn football team. And every year in the NFL, they're dealing with hundreds upon hundreds of guys that they scout, that they talk about, that they evaluate. So he's a lie, in my opinion. What's going on, everybody? We got Carlos T in the house, Golden Gold, Ivory, Fernando, welcome, Brenda King, Empress Goddess. We got Rico's in the house. What's going on, Rico? Love to Travel with Wave is in the house here. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you all here. Tiffany Jackson is in the house, just came in the house. Just Natural. Appreciate you all. Let's get back to it.
Talk to Odell Beckham Jr. December 5th. Can you tell us where you are with that?
We had a good visit today. In person? That's it. In person? That's it.
Jerry, Dak was able to overcome those 2 interceptions.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to look. I'm going to play a video of Jerry Jones, the same interview. I'm going to play it through once without saying a word to any of you. Then I'm going to play it a second time. It's a short video. What I want to tell you, this is why I know Jerry Jones is a liar. He's not being honest, because he's being asked more questions about this situation. He's being asked about the woman who did the interview with Don Lemon that I played earlier in the stream. And you could tell he was getting a little irritable, saying he didn't want to talk about it anymore. And then he went on to say, give me somebody else. So he doesn't want to deal with the issue, because the more people pick at the issue, the more things will be more revealed. I believe that Jerry Jones didn't go up there just because he was curious. Because if you're being honest, why would you be getting so irritated? He's irritated because he wasn't expecting this story to get out, and it got out, and he's been exposed. And I don't care if he's your favorite football coach. I don't give a damn. What's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. Jerry Jones showed us his true colors when Colin Kaepernick was demonstrating when he did not want any of his players doing anything. So he ain't no man of civil rights. He ain't no man that says, hey, we want to get past these things. And don't give me this stuff about him paying money, because I got a video with the Odd Couple, sports writers and hosts, who are going to break that part down, that's BS. He's only paying these black players because that's what the market bears, and he wants to win championships and make lots of money. Let's go on here. Thank you for the super chat. The man was 15 years old. I don't hide this again. I don't hold this against him. I don't care if you don't hold it against him. At 15 years old, you know exactly what's going on. And when I show you a video, he grew up in a culture where all those kids knew what was going on, and he grew up in that culture. So don't give me this crap about he was only 15 years old. Don't give me that crap. Emmett Till was only 14 years old, and look what they did to Emmett Till. So I don't want to hear that. Now, let me let you listen to Jerry Jones right here, as he is obviously not happy because he has to explain these again, and he doesn't want to explain. Look at his attitude, the pompousness of his attitude. That tells you everything you need to know. Watch, I'm going to play it one time through and then play it again.
That's a good sign.
Have you had a chance to talk to Sally Jenkins and Dan since they wrote that article? Did you feel it, Sally Jenkins, did you feel it was fair?
I'll visit with any time you want to. Talk. Good. I've explained that. Period. Period. I've explained that. Need somebody else here.
Jerry. Behind. Somebody behind.
Calvin wants on.
You said you met with Beckham today?
I didn't meet with him. I talked to him.
All right. You see the part where he was asked a question.
Good. I've explained that. Period. Period. I've explained that.
He has said, period. I explained that. Period. He doesn't want to talk about it anymore. Watch this.
Need somebody else here.
Boom. He says, give me somebody else. Let's play that back a little bit. Here we go.
Need somebody else here.
See?
Period. I've explained that. Need somebody else here.
Boom. Period. I explained that. Give me somebody else here. Meaning he don't want to talk about it no more. See?
Need somebody else here.
Boom. Now, here's the other evidence I'm going to show you. This was in an article, and let me put this up here. Jerry Jones says his decision with Dallas Cowboys are based on business, not race. Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones refuses to apologize, ladies and gentlemen, for his presence in a recent resurfaced photo of a 14-year-old, no, he was 15 years old, Jerry Jones, in a crowd consisting of white students attempting to deny access to 6 black students at North Little Rock High School. He has put out there, when other people have talked to him, where he has said, I refuse to apologize. So Jerry Jones is already refusing to apologize, just like he refuses to answer more questions about this.
Period. I've explained that. Need somebody else here.
Boom. I'm not playing with y'all today. And for the person who super chatted me saying, oh, I'm not going to hold against him what he was at 15. Well, guess what? When I show you some video of some of those people in his community and how they talk and think, you can't tell me that Jerry Jones did not have that ideology or was not exposed to that ideology when he sets up here and tells you he was just curious. He didn't know what was going on. He knew exactly what was going on because that was the environment. The hell out of here with that. Jerry Jones has already refused to apologize for his presence there. They tell Kyrie Irving that he has to apologize for posting a video that's sold on Instagram, that's sold on Amazon by Jeff Bezos, and Jeff Bezos hasn't been made to do any apology. They set up here and told Kyrie Irving that you must fulfill 6 requirements. What are those 6 requirements? Apologize and condemn the film promoting, that was the Hebrews to Negro. Then you have to make $5,000, $500,000 donation to an anti-hate cause. You have to complete sensitivity training. You have to complete anti-Semitic training. You have to meet with the ADA and Jewish leaders. You have to meet with team owners Joe Tosso to demonstrate an understanding of the situation. So don't sit up here. So now Jerry Jones isn't being made he just sat up here and told y'all he wasn't going to apologize. Kyrie Irving at one point in time said he was going to stick to his guns and he wouldn't apologize, and they made him apologize, and they told him that he had all these rules, 6 rules to jump through to be reinstated back to the NBA. But now we got Jerry Jones sitting up here talking about he ain't going to apologize and getting real slick when he's asked more questions about this and saying, give me somebody else. I've already told you what I'm going to tell you. Damn it. Don't play with the Information Man show.
Tell the truth.
Calvin was on.
Right here, Dallas Cowboy owner Jerry Jones refuses to apologize. Refuses to apologize, y'all. Let me put up another clip that it came out of his mouth as they were asking him questions. Jones said he was simply, once again, here we go with this Curious George BS.
Tell the truth.
Jerry Jones reported that he was just simply a curious kid. I didn't know at the time, the moment, even really that it was what was going on. He knew what was going on. That's the lie of it. He just admitted when he was being asked questions that he was aware of what was happening at the other school. He knew what was happening, and is in any white person of his age that tells you that they didn't know what was going on back then, they're a damn lie. And the truth ain't in them.
Tell the truth.
I didn't know at the time, the moment, eventually really what was going on. I'm sure glad that we're a long way from that. I am Jones said after the Cowboys' 28-20 victory against the New York Giants on Thursday, and one day after the Washington Post published this story, his lack of impact on the racial issues in the NFL. He has had no impact, ladies. He's never hired a black coach, even though he has hired players, but that's what he's supposed to do. He runs a football team. It's a no-brainer. He's going to give them money based on what the market bears. Not because he loves them, because that's what the market bears, and he wants to make money. He gives them millions. He gets billions. Okay?
Tell the truth.
His lack of impact on racial issues in the NFL while using the photo as a background into Jones's mindset, that reminds me, just continue to do anything we can to not have those kind of things happen. Now, let me read something by Jamila Hill, who I've never been a big fan of Jamila Hill because she said some things about black men that I have not liked. But in this purpose, what she said, I think, made a lot of sense. And remember, she used to be on ESPN. She says, guessing Jerry Jones isn't the only NFL owner who has something like this in their past. She's correct.
Tell the truth.
The wild part is that expectations that black people are just supposed to narrowly trust that a white people who were once eager participants in the dark parts of history magically have evolved today.
Tell the truth.
Okay. Jerry Jones is not being a complete honest broker, in my opinion, my humble opinion, y'all.
Didn't meet with him. I talked to him.
Play that one more time.
Explain that. Period. I've explained that. Need somebody else here. Jerry.
Calvin was on.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
I didn't meet with him.
It's about truth, y'all. It's about telling the truth and being on the right foot of the truth. And that's what it's all about. We're going to get back to it right now.
Tell the truth.
Information is power.
Jerry Jones is not being honest here. Now, remember I told you that he took a knee, but that was all orchestrated when the anthem wasn't playing with his players. But before that, he was very adamant that none of the Dallas Cowboy players would be allowed to demonstrate these issues around what was happening to black men. That shows you right there that Jerry Jones is not a trailblazer for racial issues. But I don't expect any of the owners in the NFL to be that. And I'm not also surprised. So if someone leaves a message on this video today and say, hey, why are you surprised? No, I'm not surprised. I'm simply illustrating that Jerry Jones is a liar and the truth ain't in him.
Tell the truth.
Let me play this video that some of you might have forgotten back when there was all this issues about Colin Kaepernick. Now, you had Richard Sherman, who really exposed Jerry Jones right here, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to this right here. Here we go.
The current movement is not pulling owners like it is pulling the rest of the country. Quote, because if it was, then they'd speak. Jerry Jones especially has no problem speaking up any other time about anything else. But when it's such a serious issue and he could really make a huge impact on it with a few words, his silence speaks volumes. We now say hello to our Ryan Clark. What is your reaction to what Richard Sherman is saying?
I think Richard makes an excellent point, and I believe it's a point that would be echoed by many other professional football players, but I'm actually not surprised. Jerry Jones was very clear in his stance in 2017 about what he felt about the protest. And so I think Jerry Jones is really just sticking to the script. He has already said how he feels. He's sticking to what his morals are. He's sticking to what his beliefs are. And I think that's what and all we can expect from anyone. Jerry Jones doesn't run in the same circles as a guy like Drew Brees. When Drew Brees came out and made that statement, he had to answer to teammates. He had to answer to friends, to people that he deals with on a day-to-day basis. Those aren't the same circles that Jerry Jones runs in. So I don't think he feels the societal pressure that many people who have changed their mind or many people who have started to listen feel. And so for Jerry Jones, he's worried about the people that he keeps company with. And so he wasn't on the side of the protest then. I don't necessarily think he will be now. Would that voice be important? Absolutely. There are offices and there are rooms that Jerry Jones can get into that these players simply cannot, that other black Americans simply cannot. It would go a huge way to be side by side with one of America's most known billionaires. But if Jerry Jones isn't moved, if his beliefs don't line up with what Colin Kaepernick's is and the beliefs of those protesting is, then he will never be able to come to the side of right in this situation and be supportive in the fight for equality for all.
That's the truth. That's the truth, everybody. Let me show you something that really is interesting. Remember Stephen A. Smith? Stephen A. Smith is, I don't know what I can say about this guy, but let's look at this clip right here. So Stephen A. Smith defends Jerry Jones over the 1957 Arkansas desegregation protest photo. Stephen A. Smith has defended Jerry Jones after a photo from 1957 shows him amongst a group of white young men blocking the path of black students attempting to desegregate a school. And let me also say this to you. This has always been something that's been on my mind. I never, of course I wasn't born then, didn't live to that time, but I never understood in general why black people at that time would want to send their kids to go to school with people that hated us. How did you expect that we were going to get an education going to school with people who despised us? It makes absolutely no sense. But that's just my 2 cents on that. Coming back to this article right here. So, and as much as I hate to say these things, but I'm going to say it using code, to me, someone like Stephen A. Smith is just, he's pure raccoon. He is pure raccoon.
Tell the truth.
Stephen A. Smith is employed by ESPN, so he's paid a healthy salary to say whatever they want him to say, long as he don't step on too many toes. They fired him once. This is his history. He was fired from ESPN one time for stepping over bounds. Then they hired him back, and when they hired him back, he seemed to be very comfortable with throwing black players under the bus. But now you've got Jerry Jones, who's got a little seedy history, and we all know it's true. And he wants to defend Jerry Jones by saying on his program the other day, I want to let everybody know that I absolutely love Jerry Jones. He's my man. And I am very pissed off that people would throw him under the bus like this. This is one buck dancing raccoon.
Tell the truth.
Stephen A. messed up hairline Smith. We're talking about Stephen A. buck dancing, messed up hairline Smith. Listen to this BS right now, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go.
pretty pissed off. And let me say this. I'm pissed off, but not for reasons that people would think. I'm very, very fond of Jerry Jones, and I'm not hiding that from anybody.
Now, we know the story, ladies and gentlemen. You have the field Negro and you have the house Negro. The field Negro would pray for fire. If the master got sick, the field Negro would pray that the master would die of his sickness. If the big house was on fire, the field Negro would pray that that wind would come and keep blowing that house down. Then you had the house Negro who would say, "What's wrong, boss? If you're sick, that means that we sick." When the house was on fire, the field Negro would pray for a storm to put the fire out. When the master died, the house Negro would cry himself to sleep over his love of the master. When the field Negro said, "Let's run," in this case, Kyrie Irving would be the field Negro, right? When the field Negro said, "Let's run, let's hide, let's separate," so Kyrie Irving would be the field Negro for the purpose of this. He would say, "Let's run, let's hide, let's get away from master's plantation and find freedom." But the field Negro would say, "Why we want to run? Why we want to hide? Where we're going to get food and shelter? Ooh, master been good to me, master." But the field Negro says, "We got to run from this." It reminds me of in the 1960s or 70s when you had the black exploitation films, and there was a film, I think it was Superfly. And there was a scene in Superfly when Superfly said that he wanted to get out of the dope game and change his life. And you had the one pimp or the one guy who said, "Negro, are you crazy? We got color TV, we got a big old house and cars. Where you gonna get it better than this, Negro?" Same mentality. So when we listen to Stephen A. Smith, remember he has a house Negro mentality. He's sitting up here saying, "I'm gonna make it no secret that I'm fond of a Jerry Jones." Is Jerry Jones giving him a salary, ladies and gentlemen? Is Jerry Jones paying him? Hell no. ESPN pays him. If y'all hear and understand what I'm saying, hit a 7 in the chat room. Here we go.
I'm very, very fond of Jerry Jones, and I'm not hiding that from anybody. Is his record perfect? No. But I'm pissed off because he doesn't deserve what just happened. He doesn't deserve it. Our report said he was 14 years old. Yeah. Another report said he was 15 years old. At minimum, that's 65 years ago. You're going to bring up a picture of Jerry Jones standing at this protest. No question what was happening is not something that anybody as a black person should be appreciative about. We had 6 students at that particular North Little Rock High School that was trying to desegregate the school.
No one should be okay with it.
Nobody should be okay with that.
Regardless of
We
race.
understand that.
Woman that's talking on the show, she's the only one that's talking. She made sense there. Nobody. Let's continue.
We get all of that. We also understand what we as black people and as black folks, black men have to deal with. And by the way, to some degree, we still deal with a lot of things, and we all know it. Racism is alive and well. Bigotry and prejudice is alive and well. We get all of that. What I'm saying is, here's the part that bothers me. You want to get on Jerry Jones and his track record, fine. In 2000.
What you have here again is what I said earlier, the field Negro in the house Negro analogy. The field Negro says, "Let's run, let's hide, let's get out of here." The house Negro says, "No, we don't want to run. We living good here." The house Negro prays for rain when the master's house is on fire. The house Negro prays that the master gets good health when he gets sick, where the field Negro says, "No, I want this man to die so I can get this oppression off of me." But the house Negro just can't stop fighting the fights for the master. I remember Malcolm X once said that every time a black man speaks the truth, they will find another black man to disrupt what has just been said. This is a damn shame.
Tell the truth.
Let's continue.
2003 or so, you know what? You should have hired. Dennis Green shouldn't have got an interview on the phone. It should have been an in-person interview.
Right.
You should have followed the letter of the rule of the law as it pertained to the Rooney Rule. He wanted Bill Parcells, universally recognized one of the greatest football coaches we've ever seen. It was clear he wanted Bill Parcells. Nobody else was going to have a chance of getting that job. That's what he wants to do. You want to malign him for that? Fine. You want to point out that he's one of 7 black NFL owners that's never hired an African-American as a head coach? Fine. Do all of that. Attack him for that. Go ahead. Yeah. No problem. I see a plethora of African-Americans employed by him. I see black players who've played for him who rave about this man and what he's done for them on a personal level. But if you want to go...
Remember I said that Jerry Jones paying black men to play football is nothing special. They're his employees. He's paying what the market bears to have a football team to win games. If Jerry Jones could pay them minimum wage to play football, he would pay them minimum wage. They are earning their money. He's not doing them any favors. That's what the market bears.
By his hiring record when it comes to head coaches, no problem. Can't go the executive route because we know it's him. You know what I'm saying? You want to be the president, the GM, the owner. You want to do everything. And then he's got his children that he leans on as well. So you can't go the executive route. But you want to get on him about the head coaches, fine. But you're going to bring up a photo of him when he was 14, 15 years old, 65 or 66 years ago. This is where cancer culture.
Just like Carolyn Bryant, who is responsible indirectly and directly for what happened to Emmett Till, she's still alive. She still should be held accountable. I don't care if it was 65 years, 100 years, or 80 years. Check this out, ladies and gentlemen. Jewish people were killed by Nazis. They still going after Nazis today. They just arrested somebody that's 100 years old for what he did to Jewish people back in the World War II days. You've got Nazi soldiers that they're still looking for, and Jewish people do not let up on them just because of that. Just because it's 65 years ago still doesn't mean that Jerry Jones should not be either evaluated. We shouldn't look into this and see what role did he really play into it, or look at his attitude. I showed you what his attitude is. He's already said he's not going to apologize. He got on that video and you saw it for yourself where he's being asked questions and he says, somebody else, give me somebody else. He was asked questions about, well, what about the kids that were there? It wasn't a welcoming party for them. And he minimizes and says, well, you know, I was just curious. And that we all didn't know what was going on. That's a lie. And I will show you evidence of that tonight. Let's continue with the raccooning of one Stephen A. Smith.
Gets into the mix, and you're making an attempt to eradicate him, what he stands for, and all he has done. I will remind you, we've had Senator Robert Byrd, who passed away a few years ago, that was a member of the KKK. We've had other politicians, you know, whose record, who didn't want the segregate, who didn't want desegregation. Right. The George Wallaces of the world, the Bull Connors of the world, and others, okay? We've seen all of this. We've had elected officials on Capitol Hill that are implementing and legislating policy that affects our lives. But we're going to go to Jerry Jones. And by the way, I don't have a problem with the photo. I don't have a problem. If he was 30, 35, 40 years old.
Let me stop right there. Now, Stephen A. Raccoon says... we got politicians doing things. Check this out, everybody. We should be getting on all these people who have a pass. That don't give Jerry Jones a pass just because he's a football owner and general manager. And he's doing a horrible job of it, by the way, too. Okay? Over the years. That don't let him off the hook. Just because everybody that he named as a politician, we already recognize that we've had politicians like that. We had Strong Thurman. We got Joe Biden in the White House, who's responsible for writing bills with Strong Thurman that put more black men in jail. We got one in the White House right now, and I talk about him anytime I need to. So that don't mean that we don't recognize what that part of what Stephen A. Smith is saying. We already talk about them individuals. Don't mean we're going to let Jerry Jones off the hook because he can give you a grin and a smile. And because he's giving contracts to black men to play football, he's giving contracts because he's in the game of making money. That's it. Nothing less, nothing more. Stephen A. Smith, man, I tell you, he be cooning. Man, he be cooning. And I'm so sick of his cooning and his rat cooning. This is what I got to say about Stephen A. Smith. Because he does this all the time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have to make this known right now. Stephen A. Smith, to me, is an embarrassment. He does this all the time. He wants to play both sides of the candlestick. Sometimes he want to act like he's a pro-black guy. Then he wants to swing all these different ways. But to me, right here, ladies and gentlemen, Stephen A. Smith gets the Negro Please Award. Negro Please Award is awarded to black people on media or not on media who add to the embarrassment of black people worldwide. Today, he's been awarded the Negro Please Award by this chat room, by this platform, for his buffoonish ways and how he continues to conduct himself when it comes to black people's affairs. Stephen A. Smith, I duly give you this honor of Negro Please Award for adding to the embarrassment of black people worldwide. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's go on to the next video. These two guys, I think, were talking with a little bit more sense than him because they're going to break it down. And here we go. We got the Odd Couple. You know them from Fox, and here we go.
No question about it. Now, what is your, what is your reaction about seeing the photo?
Not shocked at all. Like 1957 and Little Rock, and it's
once again, federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyright motion picture videotapes or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use, and is allowed for the purpose of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which does not infringe the copyright. And folks, I really appreciate you all being here today. I really do. Man. Let's get back to this. Let's get back to this right now.
Seeing the photo.
Not shocked at all. Like 1957 and Little Rock, and it's just surprising that they got a picture of him, and it's him. There's no doubt, right, Chris? That's
you
him.
Can see it. It looks like him.
It looks like, at 14 years old, it looks like him. So it's just funny when you look at things in history and just, where people are on what side of history and different things, and, knowing whether something was right or wrong or at that point or probably during that time. Those were the times of the day, Chris. Those were the times he was living in and what people were doing and whatnot, and he obviously got caught up. I just wonder sometime when I think about people's beginnings and their thoughts or whatever was going on in their family or in their house, Chris, or what was said or whatever, and then you become a very successful and rich person. And, and now you're paying these same black people millions of dollars. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Not as if it's a charity or anything, like he's doing something special. They make him a lot of money.
They earn it.
They earn it. Right. So I don't want to make it like, he's a great guy. No. He's paying them because that's what the market bears. It has nothing to do with anything else.
Yes. And he wants to win football games. Let's just keep it real.
Right. And if those black guys couldn't help him win football games, he wouldn't have him on the team.
I say it all the
Right. And if those black guys couldn't help him win football games, he wouldn't have him on the team.
I say it all the time, Rob.
Tell the truth.
We've talked about it on the show. It's sad because it really shouldn't be this way. The history of the country is sad. It's worse than sad. It's tragic. But sports it's certainly arguable, Rob, with all due respect to Dr. Martin Luther King and the civil rights movement and all the brave people that
what's going on, Brother Gabs? Good to see you.
And, you know, sit-ins and were killed and just did all the things they did to bring about integration and equal rights. Sports may have done more than anything in this country to bring about the degree, and we still got a ways to go, but the degree of racial inclusivity and equality that we do have in this country.
That's why we hold.
There's no
That's why
doubt.
we hold black athletes to such a high standard. You know what I mean? As far as like how we revere them, Chris, because of they were like the ones who we saw publicly break through. You know, like push through. We saw the movie. We already know about Jackie Robinson and all the what people had to endure, and they were able to break through oftentimes first.
Right. And like you said it, if African Americans hadn't been such great athletes, I firmly believe that we would not be as far along racially as a country.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you all agree with what they're saying right there, that if it was not for athletes, we wouldn't be farther along racially. Let me know what you think in the chat room. I want to thank Brother Keith Weston for the $10 super chat. He says Harper Johnson means Stephen A. Smith loves to tap dance for good old Master Jones. That is true. Thank you.
Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you for that super chat. Thank you for being here. What's going on, Gav Media? I see you in the chat room, brother. If it's the Gab that I know, good to see you here, brother. Where you been? I hope your family is well. Hope you had a good, what we call a holiday. Thank you for being here. Let me continue. I have another video with these guys. This is the Odd Couple. This is Rod Parker. These guys do a great job, I think, and their perspective is needed on this issue. Let me show you something. Here's another video from these guys. Give me a minute. Here we go. Boom.
He is in, if you look at the photo, I mean, he does look like he's looking to see what's going on.
Yeah. I don't, from
he's
that
not
picture,
like visibly, right, from just that picture. Now, that doesn't mean he wasn't adamantly against integration.
And that was the news of the day. You know what I mean? That was, Chris, you notice even from the standpoint of, even from a religious standpoint and like the churches and, like they weren't in church being against segregation and you know what I mean? And saying
the churches in the South were heretical. Meaning false belief, false doctrine is what they were promoting because they were promoting white supremacy.
Right. There was not
everyone, maybe, but a lot
but you know what I mean, right?
Right. I mean, there's stories where people would leave church and go and lynch a black person. Stories like the people would, as in a mob, leave the church excitedly to go to a lynching. That's in books. And so it really wasn't Christianity that was being taught. It was white supremacy more than Christianity. And so that is, it's documented that the schools in the South, that's what they taught. They taught, lies about slavery, that it was a benevolent institution and blacks were cursed and things like that, all types of nonsense.
Tell the truth.
And so, that's how people were raised. What's interesting, Rob, is Jerry Jones and I mean, look, Jerry Jones, African-American players, Rob, they all seem to have great relationships with him. So I'm not going to say anything about him like this means he's racist or anything. He may have been that back then. I don't know.
No, but there's nothing there for us to look at.
He may have had a change of heart too.
Right.
I mean, that's the thing.
People progress. People progress.
People grow. People progress. People learn. People change. So I'm not going to judge him by that photo. That, as you said, the photo isn't. You don't.
So there it is, folks. Once again, everybody wants to tap dance. And now they were talking strong in the beginning, but you can tell that they're tap dancing a little bit near the end. And I don't know why we tend to do this as black people, where we'll make good points and then we begin to go back to the tap dancing. I just don't understand why we
tell
do
the
that.
truth.
Just keep the truth being out. Keep the truth coming out of your mouth about these things. Now, I'm going to read something to you all before I go into this educational video right here. When did segregation start in Arkansas? The earliest state mandated segregation in Arkansas occurred with the passage of Act 52 of 1868, which established segregation education for black and white students, okay, in which most black citizens found themselves required them to consider which would be the least of the two evils, okay? Segregation would be the least of two evils as they believed. Check this out. It's not even that long. Just 2 minutes.
Newspaper, the Arkansas Gazette at that time,
tell the truth,
indicated that the Brown decision was going to change the face of the South forever. I remember those words. And I thought to myself, good, because I think the face of the South ought to change.
I will not force my people to integrate against their will.
The governor of the state, Orville Forbes, decided that he was going to use Central as his point of resistance.
tell the truth.
None of us of the 9 anticipated that the resistance would be as strong as it was. The night before we were to go to school, the governor called out the Arkansas National Guard, unbeknownst to us. And when we appeared at Central the first day,
sealed off,
the National Guard was there to bar our entrance and let white students go into the school. What it was like, it was rejection that I had never experienced like that. It seemed to me that if they were going to all of this trouble to keep me out, there was something bigger than my simply going to class. Only when we got home from school that day did we realize what an ordeal, personal ordeal, Elizabeth had gone through, and that she certainly faced more of the mob directly. I always applaud the fact that she was able to keep both her composure and try to figure out how to get out of that. We started school on the 25th of September.
President Eisenhower sends 500 troops of the 101st Airborne Division of the United States Army.
It was a terrific feeling that President of the United States would send troops to escort us into school.
Tell the truth.
I didn't know what was going to happen after that. It was like going to war every day. You had students who tried to use as much verbiage as they could to intimidate us. We had threats and comments that, we would be killed. For all of us, we decided that this was a year that we were going to support each other. We were going to try to do as well as we could in our academic work. Some were a lot smarter than me, but I also was determined that this year I was going to graduate from Central. The principal of the school told me at one point along the way that I didn't have to come to the ceremony. They would mail me my diploma. And I thought, listen, I didn't go through all this to pass up the ceremony. Maybe the world thought that after Little Rock, everything is going to be fixed. And one of the important pieces, I'm sure I don't need it to remind anyone, that the history of slavery in this country makes it very difficult to overcome a lot of issues on race. We're a long way from being perfect, but we certainly are not what we were when I started out. I believe that our participation at Central is one of those many steps that's gone to change this country for the better.
Do you think the Negro students ever will get in here?
I think they'll get in here, but I don't know how long they'll live after they do get in here. That's my honest opinion. I'm talking to you, give you my honest opinion. Because they cannot keep the police out here always. I don't think they got any business in here to start with.
Well, what if the president brings in federal troops?
I don't think the president has under the Constitution, the president has
Tell the
any
truth.
authority to send in federal troops unless our governor asks for it. They're taking all of the state rights away from the states when they do a thing like that. That's only my opinion of it.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, that was the mentality of the people in the community that Jerry Jones grew up in. So him saying that he didn't know what was going on is a lie. He grew up in this community, in this happening.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the television and radio audience. In view of the decisions I have made, I think it is well to review for the people of the state and the nation some of the background in the tense situation which has now developed relative to the forcible integration of the public schools of Little Rock. Telephone calls have come to me at the mansion in a constant stream, and the expressions of all are the fear of disorder and violence and of the harm that may occur on the morrow in this attempt at forcible integration of Central High School. Units of the National Guard have been and are now being mobilized with the mission to maintain or restore the peace and good order of this community. Advanced units are already on duty.
This is the community Jerry Jones grew up in. He was around it at 15 years old.
On the grounds of Central High School. And in conclusion, let me state, for all to hear and to heed, the public peace will be preserved.
That's the neighborhood he grew up in. That's the community that he grew up in, Arkansas, which is what they were doing to black folks back then. So this whole thing about he don't know nothing is BS. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to play my last video before I end the stream, but this is very important. Jerry Jones is lying about not knowing, being naive. He grew up in a neighborhood. He grew up in an environment where he was very much aware. You're going to hear kids of his age talking about the racial issues. One of the things that they said is they had no problem dealing with Mexicans and Chinese, but something about black people that they had a special problem with. This is why we can't use the word people of color. We can't use that word and include ourselves as people of color because for a long time in this country, other ethnic groups have been seen as different than us. You're going to hear them say, hey, we've got Chinese kids or Mexican kids that move into our community and we can get along with them. We have no problem with them. But there's something about those black folks. You're going to hear this from people of his age peer in this community that he grew up in. So nobody can tell me that Jerry Jones isn't aware of these realities with all of that Curious George stuff he was talking. Remember, you're going to hear something from these girls that's really going to blow you away, and that's what it really was about. The fact that they said that any other ethnic group we're okay with, it's the black people in particular we got a problem with. So let's get away with this people of color crap. That still ideology still remains today with people who see us different and see the other ethnic groups as, okay, they're safe, the immigrants are safe. They're cool. We can work with them. But these black folks, we can't work with these black folks. That's the mentality, folks. Listen to this. This is going to end. This is going to get us to the conclusion of our stream today. Check this out. and tell the truth, everybody.
The children yell at them and everything, but that's to be expected, really.
Because you girls have never mixed with Negroes on any kind of an equal basis in your lives before, have you?
No, sir.
It makes it...
I never had anything to do with any until they came here. I mean, they never lived, well, what you'd say, close enough to us, or we just never were around them, really.
Isn't that part of what makes it difficult when you live 15 or 17 years of your life and then start doing something different all of a sudden?
Well, I think, like if a Spanish or a Chinese person came here, it wouldn't be hard to get along with them. It's just that the Negroes are what you might say more different to us.
The Negroes are more different. If a Chinese or Mexican person move here, we can get along with them, but not black folks. And we sitting up here in 2022 talking about people of color. No, it's us.
If a person came here, it wouldn't be hard to get along with them. Well, I think, like if a Spanish or a Chinese person came here, it wouldn't be hard to get along with them. It's just that the Negroes are what you might say more different to us than a Spanish person. If a person came here, it wouldn't be hard to get along with them.
Live 15 or 17 years of your life and then start doing something different all of a sudden?
Well, I think, like if a Spanish or a Chinese person came here, it wouldn't be hard to get along with them. It's just that the Negroes are what you might say more different to us than a Spanish person might be.
But now, you've talked with some of these Negroes yourself. Do you think they are very different from you?
Well, I believe they all have the same ideas as all the white students do. But on this program, I saw interviewing a Negro girl. She said that she thought that she would make better friends with Central. And I think a friend is someone...
Now they're going to break it down. The black girl says she thinks she can make better friends at an all-white school. See the mentality? That's called self-hate. Black people being put under self-hate, hating ourselves, thinking that, hey, if I can be in close proximity to whiteness, or that the white man's ice is colder than the black man's ice, that maybe it'd be better for me if I can go to a school with all white people because my friends are going to be better. That's hate. That's a self-hate, which a lot of black people, we got this self-hate about ourselves. Black people were not welcome in these schools, but we have that mentality, or they had that mentality, some, not all, that, hey, if I go to this white school, it's going to be a better way for me in life. Not always the case. Listen to this. This is crazy, y'all.
To us than a Spanish person might be.
But now, you've talked with some of these Negroes yourself. Do you think they are very different from you?
Well, I believe they all have the same ideas as all the white students do. But on this program, I saw interviewing a Negro girl. She said that she thought that she would make better friends with Central. And I think a friend is someone that you can work with and depend on and discuss problems and get together. And often girls have parties together and things like that. And I think as far as going to school with them, you can be nice to them, but friends, I mean, friends is much closer. You sometimes stay all night with each other at bunking parties, social parties, and everything.
And you can't ever imagine you're being on that.
No, I can't.
This is the type of community in Arkansas that Jerry Jones grew up in. So when he says he don't remember nothing, that he don't know nothing, BS. This is what he grew up in. This is the mentality.
Yeah. Talk to them. I have the impression that most of them would have nothing to do with it.
This is in Arkansas,
but the ones that
in that area where he grew up.
They're really sort of making fun of them as they talk to them. And I really, I don't think it's right for them to be going to school with us, because it's mentioned in the Bible. I can't say where it is, but I could find it for you, that the races weren't supposed to mix like that.
Because you're talking about the Bible and stuff.
Will to have us mixed, we would be mixed. I mean, we'd just be mixed right now.
Does any white student who does talk to them, is he immediately accused of being a Negro lover?
No, sir. They maybe
tell the truth.
Don't exactly like them talking to them, but they don't exactly throw a fit about it, you might say.
Yeah.
Tell the truth.
Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for being here today. I hope that you were able to get something from the program as I get ready to end this program now. I want to thank everybody in the chat room. We've got Jill's Chocolate Boutique. We got Keith Western in the house, Yalpo, Golden Melanin, all of you that have come in. Phillips is in the house. Appreciate all of you. As I get ready to end this stream, I appreciate all of you being here and participating. I hope that you got something out of this today. Put a 7 in the chat room if you like the presentation, that you get something of value out of this. I told you that on my show, I go deeper. I don't just do the surface of this. I go deeper with this. Jerry Jones is not being, even though we don't have any evidence of him putting his hands on anybody, the fact that he was very unwilling to continue talking about it, and he already has put out there in the media that he's not going to apologize, that tells you everything you need to know. And the fact that he was very offstandish with the reporters as they were asking him some questions about this, and eventually he got sick of it and said, give me somebody else. I've already told you. And then he kind of was very short with them at some point in time. That shows you that, and then he plays this role like, oh, I don't remember. And you know how this works, everybody, when they start saying things like they don't remember and I was curious and all this other nonsense. That's all BS. Jerry Jones grew up. Anybody that tells you, oh, give Jerry Jones a break on this, get the hell out of here. Jerry Jones grew up in that culture. Those girls that you heard talking a few minutes ago, those were his peers. Those are the people that he's going to school with. And when you look at racism today, when our kids are being peppered with racism in school in the 21st century, 2022, and they're experiencing racism from white kids in school, where do you think the kids learn it from? They learn it from their parents. They learn it from their community that reinforces the racist thoughts. And that's where these kids get it from. All those people that you saw in the videos that I just showed and the still footage of Jerry Jones at this school, all of them got this from their culture being pushed on them by their peers, their fathers, their mothers, their grandparents. They learned this in their environment. Don't tell me that Jerry Jones was just some anomaly that grew up in this area and none of this stuff impacted him in a way he looked at black people. He grew up in it. So this whole thing about, oh, gosh, I just happened to come up there. I didn't know what was going on. I was just curious. I'm curious. George is a bunch of BS. He knew exactly what was going on, and he played this game. He played the I don't remember game, which is always played.
Just understand it. Yes.
So for the people that look at that and say you were a part of that, and you're saying you were curious, and other people are saying, well, this was a crowd, basically, you know.
Look. That was 65 years ago.
Here we go. See what I mean?
I had no idea.
Boom. It was 65 years ago. I had no idea. You knew exactly what was going on, Jerry Jones. Get the heck out of here. I'm not buying into that. Everybody, let me know by leaving a comment on this video what your thoughts are. I also want you to share this video in all your social media. If you're a content creator, definitely drop this in your content, in your community tab, share it with people. You see what I'm doing over here on this program. I'm breaking things down. I'm giving you a perspective that we can only give as black people. What I just did today, nobody in mainstream media has broke it down like this. No one in mainstream media has examined it in the way we do it. This is why what we do on social media is so powerful. And let me also say this to Shaniqua Robinson's mother. Shaniqua Robinson's mother just told the media that she thinks all the black social media bloggers who have kept the story of Shaniqua Robinson in the news to get attention. So don't nobody tell us, and nobody tell us that what we do don't have an impact on the larger society, because it does, no matter how big or small your channel is. Share this video. Jerry Jones, again, is just doing what he's doing. He's not being honest. He's not being honest. I think he's not happy that the photo got exposed and that the story got done about it. That's what he's not happy about. That's just my opinion. So I thank you all in the chat room. We got Brian Simpson in the house, Jill's Chocolate Boutique, Keith Weston. I see you. Tiffany Jackson, I see you. Who else did I miss before I end this? Irene Fernandez, thank you for being here. 78, sister, I see you very much in chat room. Empress Goddess, Priest in the house. Smoop, Swoop, like me, is in the house. Thank you. Last call. Alexis Davis. Thank you, Alexis Davis. Good to see you. We've got my man, O'Shea, the hobbyist. Definitely love that, brother. Scott Henderson. If you're new to the channel, you just discovered this channel for the first time, this is how we get down over here. Hit the bell notification and subscribe to this channel.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe
Queen
to this channel.
Queen Shug, thank you for being here. If I said that name correctly. Illuminati, I think, is in the house. Frenchie, Wee Wee. Brother Rico. There's a lot of people who came through today that I really appreciate. Make sure you share this video on all your social media. This video deserves to get the views that it should get because I went about this in a very educational way. I broke it down. I gave you very different, gave you videos with great perspective, and I showed you some historical stuff. And that's really what it's about. But I want you to know what that young lady said I thought was very interesting about how we see these other groups okay, but the black people, that's the problem. Listen to this one more time.
What you might say more different to us than a Spanish person might be.
But now you talk with some of these Negroes.
Them, it's just
live 15 or 17 years of your life and then start doing something different all of a sudden?
Well, I think like if a Spanish or a Chinese person came here, it wouldn't be hard to get along with them. It's just that the Negroes are what you might say more different to us than a Spanish person might be.
But now you talk with
you see the mentality? You see, folks? So this whole thing about certain other minority groups may be treated different than us, that we're all treated the same? No. That's the mentality they had then, and that mentality hasn't really changed today much. Let's be honest about that. And thank you for that super chat, Sister 78. Let me put you on the screen if I could. And CCN TV, thank you for being here, brother. Great live. Thank you, CCN TV. But 70, let me get the sister up here. She gave me a super chat. And Alexis Davis, everyone's doing a great job here. Let me put you up here on the screen. Thank you for that. She's saying shout out to whoever exposes him. Yes. Thank you, sister, for being here. I got you on the screen there. I want to get the super chat on the screen. And maybe let me see. Let me go back into into this system and see if I can pull that up. Maybe it's right here. I want to pull it up. Thank you for all the super chats and support. I really appreciate everybody. I'm going to have to end this stream pretty soon because daddy duties call now. Fathery duties call right now for my young one. But I really appreciate you all being here right now. And let me pop this off the screen here. And we're going to get on out of here. Thank you. I'll be back with some more content for you very, very soon. Remember, you got the Information Man Speaks podcast channel. Make sure you go over there and subscribe to that channel as well. Thank you all. All the fair wishes, all the great wishes in the chat room, everything that people are saying in the chat room. I appreciate it all. All of you are fantastic. And if you like me putting things in the community tab, little stories and tidbits like that, I'm going to be doing that more because I think people really like that. I didn't do it as much in the past, but I'm going to do it a lot more now. And Keith, thank you, brother. Terrell, I see you. Thank you. Phillips, I see you. Rico Bizarre Foods, check out his channel. The brother has a channel and he's really good on check out Rico Bizarre Foods on what's that, TikTok. He really has a really good TikTok channel as well. Check him out there as well. And Empress, check out her channel. Jail, thank you for being here. Simpson, thank you for being here. French Wee Wee. And I really enjoy the $9.99 super chat from Sister 78. I thank you very much for that. So I'm going to get on out of here. I hope that you all got something out of this. Hit a 7 in the chat room if you got something out of this as we end the stream right now. So with that said, here we go, folks.
Tell the truth.
Peace.
Tell the truth.
Thank you all.
3 Network, changing the way you listen to podcasts.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Thank you all. Everybody in that chat room, thank you all. Everybody that's been watching.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Information is power. Information is power. You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to this channel.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Information is power. Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to this channel.
Tell the truth.